Hey y'all, I'm Krystal and welcome back to my Texas garden. So you're probably wondering why I'm dressed like this. Well, today we're gonna catch a swarm. And I should probably add, I don't know anything about bees. Now, if you're new around here, welcome. And if you're all about gardening naturally, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to smash the bell icon so you're notified every time I post a new video. So about a month and a half ago, I noticed a little buzzing activity going on underneath the floor of my greenhouse. I decided pretty quickly I wanted to keep the bees, but I have no experience with them. I have no equipment for them, nothing. So I contacted a local beekeeper friend who gave me this huge list of things that I would need for making a colony. And he told me that we needed to move the bees rather quickly because winter would be here and they really needed to establish their hive before it got too cold for them. So we established a timeline. I told him that I would have everything and be ready to move the bees at the end of September. Well, late last week, I walked out to the greenhouse and it was oddly quiet. So I looked and my bees were gone. And I just kind of shrugged it off like, well, it wasn't meant to be, no big deal. Well, yesterday, I was out in this back area cleaning it up, getting the very, very tall grasses cleaned up, and I was working around this grapefruit tree right behind me. I was on the riding lawnmower. I was going very, very close, touching the tree, with the lawnmower, making a ton of noise. When I got off the riding lawnmower to actually kind of rake up the really tall grass and get it out of my way, I looked up and I thought I saw a yellow jacket nest. Which honestly was really quite surprising, consider yellow jackets are the jerks of the insect world, and at the slightest noise or bump, they will attack. So I took a closer look, and y'all, I found my bees. I'm assuming they've been in this tree since late last week, which means they're probably either going to swarm away and they're just waiting for their scouts to get back, or they're going to start building a wild honeycomb right here in this tree. So as you can imagine, all work stopped yesterday. I knew that I had to get a very quick education in bees, and I needed to get a bee box and frames yesterday because I knew time was working against me. So I put the feelers out in our local information page on Facebook, local for my area. People started tagging other beekeepers, and late last night, I was able to pick up a used box. Now, during the course of the day, I did contact a bee supply company that is building a office here in my town, but they're not open yet. They won't be open till late next month, so they can't help me. But I got some really great information. The lady on the phone was super helpful, and she told me that I needed to get a used box and used frames because the smell of honey from the past would encourage the bees to stay in that box. So the beekeeper that actually hooked me up, hi Mr. Robin, he actually gave me frames that have honeycomb already on them. He said that that would be even more encouraging to the bees, and they'd be more likely to hang around. Now, like I've mentioned before, I have zero experience with bees. I don't have any equipment, which is why I'm wearing one of my husband's jackets, and it's getting pretty hot in here. And honestly, I'm probably going to get stung like 1,000 times. Now, for the future, I will be getting some sort of bee equipment, whether it's just something to cover my head, some gloves, or the full suit. I'm not too sure, but that equipment will be here and will be here really quickly. The box I have is just a 10-frame box, and another friend on Facebook has been keeping bees for over 20 years, and she told me that I needed a second level because the bees make the honey on the top level, lay their eggs, have their nursery down on the second level. So the second level will be here probably next week. But first thing I've got to do is encourage them to stay in this box first. Now the bees are super busy this morning. We've still got lots of loofah flowers in the garden right over here. I mean, I think that's really the only thing that has really kept them in this area, because there is a big, huge food source for them. So they're very, very busy this morning. Yesterday afternoon, they were in a very tight ball, kind of flapping their wings really fast. I was told that was to keep them cool. So I originally thought that the bees were actually attached to one of the branches, but looking at them really closely, they are not. Now the bees right now are very, very docile, which is why I think I can get away with not having a lot of equipment. Now from my understanding, when they're in a swarm like this, they're not worried about protecting their home. They're worried about the queen, and their job at this point is to keep the queen safe. But I also want to add that when they were in the greenhouse, they were still very docile. I could work all around them, and they didn't bother me at all. They didn't fly at me, trying to get me away from the hive. They're just super, super docile. Like I said, I was mowing around them yesterday, and they never did anything to me. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a leather glove, and I'm actually going to snip away at the robin's nest and see if I can't just drop the swarm in my hand like that, and then move them over to the box. This is going to get interesting. That is for sure. Did I mention I have never worked with bees? I've never wrangled bees in my life. Mr. Robin kind of laughed at me and said, "Good luck." Okay, so I'm basically starting by pruning the tree just because it's full of thorns, and I've already been poked like 5 times, but I think that would help get them down easier, having a clear path. So I've already got one that tried to sting my glove, so I'm glad I have it on. Somewhere in here is the queen. I am pretty sure. Pretty sure. I do know that they will continue to go back to the queen until wherever she is. And the way they're concentrated on this right now, pretty sure I got the queen. Pretty sure. This is really cool. This thing is really, really cool. Okay, hopefully you guys can see. All right, so this is a piece of their old honeycomb. After I discovered that they were gone and they were in this tree, I decided to tear up part of the floor and see if they had honeycomb down there. See if they left anything, and they left completely empty honeycombs. About 4 of them. And they're relatively small, you know, about that size, just like what you're seeing. So now I have to get them off of this and into here, and then put all of these frames back. Okay? So, hadn't got stung yet. Let's push fate a little bit more. Alright, so we're going to just kind of knock them in here. Get them off of there. They did not like that. But if we move this aside, down in the bottom, they're kind of swarming in the bottom. Hopefully you can see. Okay? So, I don't know where the queen is, okay? I don't know. No clue. But now I know I do have to put these back, and I have to do it slowly because I don't want to squish any bees. So we're just going to go one at a time. And Mr. Robin said that they are smart enough to get out of the way. He also said that I had to use all of the frames because you have to keep them kind of uniform. And if you give them any slack, they will build it however they want. Okay? So there's the first one. And there's the second one. And they're still in the very, very bottom, eating whatever honeycomb is down there. And we have the last one. This one's really super sticky. Now, if I didn't get the queen, I didn't capture the hive. I do know that. Okay. And if I did capture the queen, there's like a 95% chance that she'll say, yeah, this is cool. Let's hang out here for a while. And now I'm going to put the lid on. So tons and tons of bee activity right now, which you could probably imagine would be pretty normal considering I just disturbed them and stuck them kind of like in an Airbnb compared to what they were in. So only time is going to tell if I actually did capture the queen, which I think I did, because they were all kind of hovered around. They're in the very, very bottom of this beehive right now, eating on some honeycomb that was there. I guess that's what they're eating. I have no idea. But anyway, like I said, I have no earthly idea on wrangling bees, but this was my very first time, and I am happy to say I didn't get stung yet. Yay! But they look pretty happy. They look like they're coming in and out of the beehive. I did put a little bit of sugar water right there, that little lid right there, and I did put some gravel in there so that they wouldn't drown when they go to drink it. So, and I see a couple of them already taking advantage of the sugar water. So they know that they've got a home. They know that they've got a food source. And oh, by the way, I did order a proper sugar water dispenser for the bees. It will be here tomorrow. So until then, I think this will work out just fine. I did stick a little bit of honeycomb in with the sugar water, and the sugar water, Mr. Robin told me to do a 1-to-1 ratio, and that's what I did. So it's more like a syrup. It's very, very thick. But y'all, they seem to be going in and out of that. So we will see. I am told to leave it alone. Leave it alone for a week. Don't disturb it. So y'all probably know that for the next week, I'm going to be standing right about here looking at the front entrance of my beehive. So that's the video today. Me wrangling bees for the very first time. Oh, I just want to add, this was probably not a very smart choice, and you probably shouldn't do this yourself without proper education, which we know I don't have, and proper equipment, which we know I don't have. So now that I've put that disclaimer out there, I'm going to go get out of this hot jacket and get a glass of iced tea. We'll see y'all on the next video.